Greetings and welcome. Thank you for stopping by here on YouTube Live as the one and only, the raw, the rare, the real, the tried and the true. Sorry about that background noise. You guys hear my son in the back. Bloom from within love. I know, Darrell, I'm recording. I go by Bloomy. Happy Saturday, wherever you're on the globe. If you are logging in live here this glorious Saturday, August the 27th, 2022, happy new moon in Virgo. Happy new moon in Virgo. Okay. This is not the reading. We will be doing a reading, an energy reading later on this evening pertaining to what does this new moon mean for you? What is the energy present? What are you being guided to release? At the end, we'll get some energy cards in terms of what it'll serve you to pay attention to, chakra systems, light language guidance, mudras, Reiki energy, things of that nature. Okay. So I felt inspired to come on and talk a little bit about something that certainly resonates strongly with my heart, my life, my path, what I've come to know. And I did a duet with a gentleman today on my TikTok platform. By the way, if you are interested in following me over there and you haven't done that yet, there should be somewhere on the main page TikTok icon or link, and it'll take you over there. Okay. So that short inspired me to talk about it a little bit more in depth because I'm like, okay, so it's true. It like really provoked me to want to go into this with you all. So you guys see these pictures. I use pictures as illustration. Okay. So you see the angel of love. You see broken heart. You see hostilities here. You see envy. Okay, and then you see caring connection to get to a caring connection, right? So essentially, the gentleman was saying that there's a certain thing called healthy conflict or being triggered, right? It's not that being triggered is bad, but ideally, we're in connections that we feel safe and secure in to process and deal with this stuff in a very loving and healthy way. You feel safe. In other words, that they're not going to seek no kind of vengeance on you. They're not going to be trying to hurt you because they're triggered. They're not going to be, trying to sabotage you because you're triggered. See, that's unhealthy. That's unhealthy conflict. And what it made me realize is that sometimes we do get envious, okay? Envy and jealousy goes into toxicity because that's the unhealthy version, okay, where they have to compete with you constantly. They have to try to one up you. They try to sabotage you, and in some cases downright abuse you. Okay, so these are certainly situations that we don't want to be in the name of love, in the name of trying to fight for a connection. Okay, there is a certain thing of healthy conflict versus toxic trauma bonding. Okay, many of us get used to that because this is what we've come from. We were conditioned into it. Usually our parents, our grandparents, caretakers, environments, whether directly or indirectly, showed us toxic conflict, and they called it fighting for love. They called it authority. They called it so many things. But there's a vast difference, okay? When we're triggered, if we're relatively healthy people and we're in a situation that's relatively healthy, but there's something that comes up, a conflict, an argument, triggering. If we don't feel safe in these connections, that's an alarm and a red flag that this is unhealthy. Because, for an example, being triggered, like I said, hostilities because of envy, okay? Hostilities because of envy. If somebody's envy is going to drive them to be hostile to you or attack you, undermine you, come against you, whether this is passive aggressively, covertly, overtly, then this is unhealthy. Okay, this is an unhealthy version of love, right? And it leads to breakup, heartache versus a caring connection. Now, a caring connection, if there is envy, a caring connection if there is envy here, it's not going to have these hostilities when triggered. It's going to deal with things from a place of love. There's going to be a sense of safety and security, being able to work through things honestly and authentically, so that this could be resolved and there could still be a truly caring connection there. Okay? So I hope this makes sense, because as I look back on a lot of things that I've gone through with family, with lovers, with ex-friends, so forth, people don't know how to deal with the fact that they get triggered. Okay? And because they're not dealing with it, it causes a lot of people to go into a lot of unhealthy behavior. Okay, for an example, my sister wanted to become me. She wanted to look like me so that she could steal something that belonged to me. So she spent her life savings and did rituals and spells and all sorts of stuff so she can get something that was meant for me. Okay, that's toxic. What's driving all of that is her wounds and her pains and her traumas of her own low self-esteem. Okay, which is the root of this. Okay, she dove into addictions that people don't know about. Okay, and because of her being triggered by me, it caused her to invest in toxic, hostile behaviors towards me in a passive aggressive way. Okay, likewise with my mother, the envy. Instead of facing the truth about the envy and dealing with it in a healthy way and learning how to heal through it, they become hostile and project, which is why you collective and like myself, you don't feel safe in those environments, and rightly so. Okay? Healthy conflict versus toxic trauma bonding. People pretending like they don't have a problem with you, yet always working against you, that's unhealthy. Okay? And then always wanting to trauma bond, wanting you to stay connected to them while they're still trying to work against you. Okay? Like my sister and my mother. Okay? My mother was behind working against my work. My sister was behind trying to look like me, walk like me, talk like me, sound like me, be like me, to steal a gift, my gift, and gifts that don't belong to her. In these dynamics that they create in people like them, it's toxic trauma bonding that they get people in constant endless loops with them. That is not fighting for love. That is not fighting for family. That is not fighting for connection in a healthy sense. Okay, that's toxicity. When we are triggered and when there's issues that come up, there should be an energy of love to deal with stuff honestly and openly. We should feel safe about our vulnerabilities, safe about the things. If they would have been in an energy of understanding that and approaching shit from a whole nother way, a lot would have happened differently. Okay? So essentially, hopefully what I'm sharing here, it serves to help you to demystify all of the confusion and the brain fog that comes from dealing with toxic people for a long time. Okay, because you're going to hear language like we're fighting for love, we're fighting for family, we're ride or die, we're this or that, and it's toxic. Okay, everybody is covering shit up, pretending like shit didn't happen. Okay, yet all the while still doing the same fucked up shit is passive aggressive, and there's no healing in situations like that. Okay, that's insanity. That is the definition of insanity. Repeating cycles with people like that, expecting it to be different. When these toxic energies are there, the environment is unsafe. It's not conducive to be able to deal with when triggers are there. Okay, because then you're going to get attacked, which is what my people did to me. Okay, you're gonna get all sorts of shit. Okay. Another thing the gentleman mentioned was uh, chemistry. There it is. Okay. So he mentioned chemistry. This is a good topic, you guys. I'm going to dig a little deeper into it. Chemistry based on toxicity versus chemistry, right? Because you can have chemistry that comes from the highs and the lows, the addictions, the trauma bonding, the lower frequencies, versus chemistry because you feel free to be yourself with somebody. Okay. You feel comfortable. You have shared values. Healthy chemistry versus addictive, toxic, trauma bonding, the highs and lows, the chemistry that's been created out of chaos. The chemistry that's been created out of chaos. In other words, the constant fighting and then fucking. Okay. The constant lying, cheating, and then making up. The constant drama, shit show, and then calming down. So that's chemistry that's built on conflict and chaos. Okay. Chemistry that's built on you feel safe with a person, you feel at peace, at rest, and comfortable. You enjoy them, they enjoy you. Um, you share similar values and things like that. Chemistry that's based on that, that's the type of relationship we want to focus on. Because often, you guys, we have chemistry with a lot of toxicity because that's where we come from. Okay? The society, the culture, movies, we have so many things that point to this addiction to toxic dynamics. Okay, and we always end up butthurt and disappointed and shocked every time we stick to these types of connections, whether this is family, friends, exes, lovers, whoever. Okay, and then lastly, the gentleman mentioned something about, okay, people who know your worth and value and know that you are actually a delight. Okay, that you are answers to their dreams, if you will. These are the kind of relationships we want to be in. We do not want to be with people who do not recognize that, because when people do not recognize your worth and value, how do people treat what they do not recognize? If they don't recognize your worth and value, how do people have a tendency to treat what they don't value? Okay, they're very lackadaisical about it. They're very, can care less, can take it or leave it. And if that's the attitude that people have, then you need to do them a favor and leave it. Leave it for them, okay? Because it's a disservice to us to fight for connections where people have shown you via their behavior, not just their words. They've shown you over periods of time that they obviously don't understand that you're a fucking delight to be with. So doing these people a favor and releasing them so they can go be with the things that they feel like are more delightful for them, which is fine. Okay. But number one, like he said, okay, there's a difference between being triggered and feeling safe and comfortable to work through triggers and a connection in a healthy, authentic, sincere, and honest way. Okay, versus trauma bonding and being toxic or abused, okay, because of differences. Okay, number two, bonding, um, creating chemistry out of conflict versus creating the chemistry that's out of shared values, familiarity, and comfortability in a loving way. Okay, chemistry built on chaos and conflict is considered a toxic relationship. Okay. And then lastly, number three, know your worth and value and do not accept people who are not reflecting to you that they know your worth and value. Okay. If they're second guessing it and all over the place, it's an indication that they haven't recognized it. Okay. Now, as I close, I'm going to add a sidebar. I know that in a lot of our cases, we have had people doing rituals and spells, such as the situation with my bloodline, doing rituals and spells on people to leave, okay, to treat us a certain way, to cause chaos and conflict. That's what my family has been doing for years, okay? So I'm aware of this. But see, here's the point that's still at hand. I did exactly what I was guided to do. Because at the end of the day, whether there was spell work involved, trickery, prankster energy, we still deserve better than that. It's up to the other individuals to learn how to free themselves and see the truth and get to the truth about foul play and blah, blah, blah. If they never get to that stuff, that's on them. We are not to stagnate our lives even when we know people could have treated you a certain way due to somebody putting a spell and doing some weirdy shit. Okay? We're to heal and move on and walk away. Because it's still like they said, okay? If people are triggered by you, because if you're on an ascension path, you're going to trigger the twin and you're going to trigger other people, okay? If they're triggered by you and they don't know how to handle that in a loving and true and authentic way, then you need to walk away. We're not there to take their heaps of abuse and tricks and fuckery and all that. We're to walk away from these people, okay? Because it's not our fault. There's nothing you can do about that. People need to learn how to deal with their triggers in a healthy way. And if they don't, it's up to us to walk away, okay? Then number two, like I was guided to walk away, I'm not going to be bonding time and time again, whether it's with family or lovers, in trauma bonding. I'm interested in chemistry, okay, that's come from a place of feeling safe and at home to be myself and them likewise and shared value. I'm not going to build chemistry based on chaos and conflict. We fight and then we don't fight. We fight, then we don't fight. We fight. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in the tug of war, unhealthy tug of war. Okay? And people who deny that they're dealing with trauma, I can do nothing for that. I'm not going to play that game because it causes people to behave in ways that are toxic and unhealthy. Okay? And then lastly, again, I walked away because my family have no respect for me and they do not know or recognize my worth and value. Instead, they wanted to copy me, mimic me, be me, steal from me, try to kill me, yada, yada. We don't have time to dilly-dally with those types of individuals. Okay? If they don't recognize, we need to help them and remove ourselves from the scenario. Okay? All right, you guys. So hope this helps. Happy new moon in Virgo. If you're logging in live today, otherwise just hope you're doing well. I will be back at some point before the day is over to do an energy read on this new moon in Virgo. Okay. All right, you guys. I appreciate you. If you're of love and light, high vibe and positivity and benevolence coming in here, I wish that on you as well. Essentially, I decree and declare whatever it is you come on my channel and my videos with, whatever your intentions are, your vibrations are, your words, your deeds, your thoughts, your prayers, your vibrations, your rituals, I send it back to you. What you send to me, I return to you. May you be well if that's what you're wishing for me. This is my ongoing intention and my reality. All right, you guys, namaste.